Hello and welcome back to It's a Lifestyle Podcast with me, Julia Nicole. And today we are going to be talking about my testimony and how I came to Christ. So, um, just a little backstory. God has been telling me to give my testimony for a long time. And I will say that this episode is very long overdue. But for the longest time I didn't feel like I had a testimony. I felt like I had to see the light at the end of the tunnel, or I had to be walking in my promise before I could give my testimony. And that's just not true. And what made me realize this is that about a week ago or so, I posted a video on TikTok just talking about how um God came through for me and he was faithful. And people were saying like, "Thank you for sharing your testimony." And it opened my eyes to the fact that my testimony was in my face the entire time. So, with that being said, the scripture for this episode is Revelation 12:11, and it says, "And they overcame or triumphed over him by the blood of the lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death." So, this is the verse that God gave to me when he told me to speak my testimony. But the I never realized the latter end of it. It says, "And they did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death." If you are like me and God is telling you to give your testimony, but you feel like you can't because you're not walking in the promise, I'm here to tell you that the promise is not your testimony. It's a part of it. It's definitely something that you can testify to, but that's not the root of your testimony. Your testimony is the point in your life where you surrendered it all to God, even at the expense of debt, the debt to your friends and your relationships and possible job opportunities and money opportunities, the point where something happened to you or something was said to you that shifted your entire life, and now you look back and your life is completely different than what it was. That moment where you gave it all up to follow God, that's your testimony. It's not in the promise, it's in the surrender. So with that being said, um I'm going to give my testimony. Before Christ, I can say that I have always known God. I was what they say a believer, not a follower, though. I've known God. I've journaled to God since I was very, very young. I would say maybe 10 years old. Um, I had a little kid's Bible and I was in my word and I wanted to know God, and I listened to sermons and I listened to gospel music. But I can say that as I hit like puberty and like high school age around 14, I that's when I really fell into the world because I was looking for myself. I was looking for identity, and I was looking for it in all the wrong places. I was trying to find validation in the people around me, and it left me scrambling for more and more, like looking for more and more. And with men who validated me for a time or a season, but then left me hurt and broken. So from the age of 14 to the age of 21, when I had my encounter with God, it was nothing but heartbreak and me looking for God. Honestly, I didn't know it at the time, but I was looking for God. I was looking for myself. I was looking for identity. I was looking for my purpose. And I knew I had it in me. I knew I had it in me. I knew that God was had placed something in me. That I I knew that I held something special, but I just didn't know how to find it. I didn't know who to look to tell me about my identity or my purpose, or I didn't really have many people speaking to me, I guess, in the way that I wanted it or needed it to be spoken into, about how worthy I was and like just my value. So my before Christ is much like a lot of others, just partying, smoking, drinking, fornicating, trying to find myself really. And before I came to Christ, I would say honestly, especially the last couple of months before I came to Christ, I had got to a point where I was so broken and I was genuinely just trying to pick up the pieces. So at 21, I had been through so much hurt and pain and trauma from various people, from family and friends and failed relationships, that I was just about broken in every way possible. I was completely broken. And I knew that the only way to fix it was to go to God. I knew that the only person who could save me and who could help me out of the hole that I had digged myself into was God. And so December 11th, um, I wrote a letter to God, which is in this journal right here. Like I said, I've been writing and journaling since I was like 10. So this is 2021 and 2022. Um, I wrote a letter to him December 11th, and I was in simplest terms asking him to save me from myself, because I know what I'm doing and I know what I'm doing is wrong. I know how I'm living is wrong, but I cannot get out of this by myself. I don't know what you have to do, and I pray that it doesn't harm me. But God, I need you to get me out of this, out of the cycles of that I was in. It was bad. But so the night of December 11th, that same day that I journaled that, I went to a party, went out to a bar, and I drove myself home. Me and my roommate, we drove home. Everybody from the bar came to my house, and mind you, I'm in college at this time, so I'm 2 hours away from home, 2 hours away from any family. It's just me and my college friends at the time. So we all come to my house. I get there and I realize that I left my hookah at my friend's house, which that wasn't the case. My hookah was in my room the whole time. That's just how drunk I was that I didn't even notice it. So I leave to go get my hookah, and I pull out, and I remember what happened and how it happened very clearly. I pull out um of the little driveway thing of my apartment, and when you pull out, it's a gravel road. I remember going really fast down that gravel road, but I came to a stop and I was turning left, and when I turned left I hit the gas, and I just, it's like the car never stopped, like it just kept going. And I remember trying to hit the gas, and I remember trying to go back right, and it just never did. And before I knew it, I was head first into a brick wall of um an apartment building. And I ran home and I told everybody, I just ran into a brick wall. And I don't know if they thought like I was joking, because the room stood still. And after that, I didn't even say another word. I just ran back to the car. So eventually they followed me outside and seen that I had indeed ran into a brick wall, because where I had, the apartment building was right behind mine. So I didn't even make it a street away. So we started trying to push the car out the wall. The people from the apartment started to come outside. And in my head, I'm like, if I can get this car out of this wall and into this parking spot, when the police come, nobody will know I did it. Nobody will know anything. And yeah, it didn't work out that way. Um, I definitely went to jail that night. I didn't stay in jail, but I went. And the officer brought me home at like 6 o'clock in the morning. I went to sleep for maybe a couple um hours. I woke up and I literally could not believe what I had done. And for some people, a DUI or like an encounter with the police, that's nothing to them. But me, I, I'm not like that. That's that's not anything that I had experience with, or something that I do on a regular. That just wasn't me. So for me, that was really big. It hit me hard that I had lost my car. Now I'm in trouble with the law, and I ran into a brick wall in front of my friends. Like, that's embarrassing. So, um, that started my journey of full surrender because I knew that after that moment, if I had continued down the path that I was going on, it was going to lead to my destruction if I didn't get it together. And so that was December 12th. That car accident happened in the early morning of December 12th. And the next day, some friends got me outside and with fresh air. And I thank God for them. They were God sent because I don't know what would have done had I been in that room or in my house just all day, constantly ruminating on what I did. So that was that day, and fast forward into 2022. So that happened December 12th of 2021. Fast forward into 2022. Um, I just got really quiet. I got really serious about my life and about my relationship with God. A lot of what I did was just based on getting me out of school and back home. And I graduated that December. So whatever I had to do to graduate that December, that's what I did. In July of 2022, um, I moved into an apartment by myself, and that's when isolation really started. And I really started to get in my word, and it was just me and God every day. Every day. I didn't have many friends. I didn't go out really. I really just went to work, into class. And I can say it was a very lonely time, but it was a very foundational time for me and God. And to this day, like, that season of my life, those 6 months that I was just in that apartment by myself and it was just me and God, is honestly one of the best because the intimacy that I had with him, I don't think I have felt that since then. And so I'm really thankful for that time that I had with just me and him. And let me say, even in my mess, God was helping me and he sent people to help me. Um so because I didn't have a car, it was hard for me to get back and forth to work, to school. If I needed to go to the store, I couldn't do anything really. And so this girl started working on my job, and I promise I probably met this girl one time before. She would just text me and say I'm outside to take me to work. And Quinn, if you watch this, thank you. Like, to this day, I don't think you will ever know like what you meant to me and how much you helped me. It meant a lot. It really did. She was truly God sent. And so that's how the last like 6 months played out of 2022, just me and God. And little did I know that coming into 2023 was going to be the hardest season of my life. 2023 was a lot of pruning, and I wasn't necessarily in isolation. I was with a whole lot of family and friends, but 2023, God stripped me of so much. He stripped me of so much. And the pain that I was going through and the feelings that I was experiencing, it was so hard because nobody could help me but God. My mother couldn't help me because what I needed, nobody could supply but God Himself. And so when you in a season that if you got rich today, it wouldn't change the fact that there's something in you that needs to die. There's something in you that needs to change. Something is just not right and you can't quite put your finger on it. And so that was hard for me. And it was really hard because during that time I'm getting stripped of everything. I'm watching other people get into relationships and take trips and do and have everything that you want to do and have. And so, and it was really a test of my faith. It was when he told me to do things that didn't make sense, like go back to school. It was when I couldn't get a job because of the DUI, and I just had to trust that he would provide, and he did. I can say that even though I went without a job for about 6 months of 2023, not once did I go broke. Not once. So he did provide. It was just a season of stripping, and it that hurts and it is hard. And so now looking back on it in hindsight, although it was the hardest time of my life, especially coming from somebody who suffered from depression and anxiety really, really bad in 2019, 2023 was the hardest time of my life. But I can say that he stripped the worst parts of me and added on to me the best. So something good came out of it, but it was a hard time. They say pressure make diamonds. It was pressure the whole 2023. And now telling my testimony is not that God gave me something material. He gave me myself. He saved me from myself. That's my testimony. God saved me from myself. And it's a song by House Fires, and it's called Mercy, and it say I'm living proof of what the mercy of God can do. If you knew me then, you believe me now. He turned my whole life upside down. And that is the overview of my whole testimony. In the last 3 years of following God, He showed me who I am, who I was created to be. I love myself now. I know myself now. I value myself now. And I walk like it. And you can see it from the outside. For so long, He was doing the work in me. And from the outside in, if you see me, it just looked like I wasn't moving. I was stagnant. I was in this rut, but I really wasn't. He was just doing a work in me. And it took a while before you could see it outwardly on the outside. But he in that same song it says that he did more than defend me. It's who he was to me. And he has been my comforter. He has been my strength. He has been my friend. He has been my father. Who he has been to me means so much more than what he has done for me. He healed me of so much hurt and trauma and pain. And to this day, up to this morning, I never realized how much that I went through, especially in college, hurt me so bad, and how much of that I was carrying on my shoulder and how much it weighed on me. And he healed me from it all. He healed me from it all. And there's nothing left to do but thank God for his mercy and his grace. Like, thank you, God. The me I am now today is the me that I prayed for so long. Before I came to God, I was scrambling to pick up pieces of myself to put it together to make it all make sense. And I'm thankful for who I was, because she truly, the old me did everything I could with what I knew and what I had. And she got me here today. But I thank God for saving me from myself. And I thank God for giving me my identity and my worth. And I no longer search for validation from anybody or seek from love outside of him or myself. If you are contemplating giving your life to God, or you are in the same place where you searching for something, searching for yourself, searching for your identity, wanting to love yourself, this is your sign to give your life to Christ, to Jesus Christ. And I know that it's scary because it's a lot of unknowns, but I promise you that the unknowns is better than the life that you know right now. Give it to him. You will not regret it. My God is a good God. I serve a mighty good God. Um, but if this podcast was of any help to you, like, follow, and subscribe. And I will see y'all later.